Hello, everyone. I'm Jesus, and welcome to the next episode of the Road to Old School MTG. I have here round 5 of the X Points tournament held in August 2024 at Dave's Time Warp in Cedar Grove, New Jersey. This was a 5-round event, so round 5, first 2 rounds I lost. I won the next 2, so this is the final one. Hopefully, I can go 3-2. So far, I'm 2-2, and this final deck is actually a pretty unique, unusual. So it was a pretty interesting game. So before anything, let's start with some deck tech. So I'm gonna go over quickly my deck since I've gone through it now 5 times already. So this is a black mid-range deck. I do have 4 scrublands for the 4 disenchants in the sideboard, but other than that, it's mono black. One of the scrublands is a proxy. We are proxy friendly here at Time Warp, but I do have to get that final Savannah because that final scrubland, because this deck is me preparing something for the Lobstercon tournament that's happening within a month. That has an X Points tournament. That's what this deck is being built for. And in that tournament, as in most tournaments, no proxies are allowed. So this is a mid-range deck, which is a departure for me because usually when I've done X Points mono black, it's been mono black weenies, and I've done pretty decently. I've gone past the group stages consistently through the online tournaments. But there was an issue with if I didn't win quickly enough. Basically, if the game went to mid game to late game, I was toast. So then I still wanted to do mono black since I'm very used to that in X Points, but I wanted to have a deck that was beefier and the inverse. I wanted to be stronger in the mid to late game, and this is what I have here. So you have good beefy creatures. There are Lord Sengers, but also a good ramp where I have stuff happening starting from turn 2, 3, 4, and 5. Consistently playing a lot of things. I have 23 lands with a Mox, which I count as a land, and so 24 total mana sources, and so I'm expecting to consistently drop a land per turn, so that way I can go through a nice ramp into all the things that I want to be casting here, right? And then I have the Icy Manipulators, which is a good control element, which is great for mid to late game, and have a couple combos with that, with the 2 Royal Assassins, 2 Winter Orbs, and 2 Honey Mines. I also have 2 Hellfires, which so far I have not cast at all. So it's ended up being a total dead draw. In fact, the Honey Mines have also been a dead draw because I have drawn both cards, but for one reason or another, I chose not to cast them because, like Hellfire, that cost me life. Howling Mine, it gives the opponent cards in addition, and I just didn't want either one of those 2 things to occur. So in hindsight, those 4 cards, those are 4 slots I could have been having. Even actually, now that I think about it, the Black Vices as well. That I would cast, of course. Like there's no drawback to casting it, unlike the Hellfire or the Howling Mine. But when I did cast it, a lot of times like it would do a bit of damage, but not really. So really, were quite a few dead draws in this deck, right? But this is partly why I'm building this deck and getting experience with it. So it's good to know this stuff now, so that way I can do the second version of this deck and fine-tune it to be a better version. So that's my deck. Now let's go into my opponent's deck, which is, like I said, pretty unique. So I'm going here against Baron Nick. He's another old school YouTuber. In fact, I used to watch his videos. Is partially responsible for me wanting to do my own. So it's pretty cool that I actually now get to play with him pretty consistently in these tournaments. So he has built, and he likes building nice, unusual decks. So props to him. This is a creatureless Landkill deck. So you have 4 sinkholes, 4 stone rains, and then you have a Dingus Egg, which of course, so as you're destroying opponent's lands, you're doing damage to them as well. And since they can cast things, or at least theoretically, right, it'll be harder for them to cast. They have no lands or low lands. The black vices there are going to deal them damage for having a full hand. And also another thing that I liked about this deck is, or at least something that I found a bit unusual and unique, is that there are a lot of cards that you would normally see in the sideboard in the main deck. So you have 2 Red Elemental Blasts already in the main deck, 2 Flash Fires in the main deck, 2 Glooms, and even that Abyss could be something debatable that some players might say is also a sideboard card, even in a creatureless deck, because maybe certain decks, they don't have too many creatures. If they do, maybe they don't have that much, or maybe you're playing against shops, robots, right? And then the Abyss doesn't affect those anyway, right? So even in control creatureless decks, a lot of players would still put the Abyss as a sideboard, right? So that's an extra card that's debatable. Blood Moon, another one, right? It could be, but he has 1 main deck, right? So when I saw some of those cards, I was thinking, okay, so he must play blue, right? So there's a card, I forget the name, but it changes it. Well, actually, maybe 1 or 2 cards. It can change the word, color word. Let's say counters a red spell to counter blue spell, or it can change the text of the word in terms of land. So destroy all plains, to destroy all islands, and so forth, right? So I thought maybe he might have something related to that, but no, it's just, this is straight black and red. So I'm curious to see why he would include these cards. Of course, it's pretty obvious. Like, these are so strong that if they do hit against the correct opponent, it's very devastating things, right? So plus, I guess he made an educated guess in terms of what he would expect in an X points tournament, the kind of decks that you would see. So in addition to that, he also has 2 breeding pits and a bad moon. So that looks like another win con. So you have your Dingus Egg, but he only has 1 of, right? So it could be hard to get that one. Probably the Black Vices is the most consistent win con, but I like that breeding pit as well, which goes very nicely with Gate to Phyrexia, which is a card very seldomly used. It's a way for black to deal with artifacts. Sacrifice a creature to destroy target artifact, I believe. But it basically deals with artifacts through black. Of course, red is good for artifacts as well, but it's usually a one-time thing, right? So this way, Gates of Phyrexia is an enchantment, so it's a consistent way to destroy artifacts, which once again goes with the Landkill component, because mana rocks are another source of mana. So you have to get rid of both so that you can kill your opponent through Black Vice. Sideboard, so a bit, so you have extra cards here. So you have extra Breeding Pits, 2 extra Bad Moons, 2 extra Blood Moons, Terror, so there's 2 Terrors main and then 2 Terrors sideboard. Extra Red Elemental Blast, Neither Void, extra Bloom, and then you have Sit in a Bottle, Death Grip, and I forget the name of that card, but it removes all cards from the graveyard. But so pretty eclectic, but also makes it very hard to, these kind of decks very hard to deal with, right? Because you don't know what to expect, which I love. And then he's done pretty well with these kind of decks as well in these tournaments. So pretty excited to play this against this deck, against this opponent. And like I said, this is the last round, so I'm looking to, of course, since after the first 2 losses, I know I'm not getting something, a very high placement. At least I want to be, around, at least around the middle-ish. I don't want to be too low. So this is basically my final way to redeem myself and at least get a sort of respectable placement in this tournament. All right, so let's go into game 1. So here I'm going a little bit before the official game starts because we're Baranek is great for like suggesting things that are YouTube friendly. So he said that we should show our hands as we're drawing them, and if we do mulligans, show that as well. So he's totally right. I had totally neglected to do that up to where I just played him now. So the die was for who goes first. He picked on, so he's going first. So look at his hand right there. So X spells, flash fires, 2 lands only in a Blood Moon. So he's deciding to put that back. So me, I have 3 lands, a hippie, a assassin, and icy. So that's a pretty solid hand. So I am keeping this hand, but he is deciding to maul. So we can see a little bit. He's putting terror at the bottom. So with this, we are now officially starting. He goes first. Sorry for the glare, that's a black right, so he hits me for 3 damage right away. Sorry, I'll try to keep up with the life total. So I'm at 17. Me, I get a hippie with the help of a dark ritual. So turn 2 for him, another swamp. So the terrors that he has is going to be pointless against me. So he gets a Chaos Orb turn 2. So I get 1 damage during my upkeep for the black whites for turn 2. Play a scrubland, hit him for 2. He's at 18, and I get the discard. So oof, nice black whites. So I'm at 5 cards. I'm gonna get hit for another one next turn. So he's at 18. I'm at 16. He is using the Chaos Orb on the hippie, of course. Nice flip, destroys it. He passes, so he didn't get a land drop. So I'm at 15 now. And get another land, so now I can play. Ooh, so I can skip a turn because of the jet, and I can get a turn 3 Derrick Lord. So very nice. So that jet is really important. Okay, this gets a sinkhole on my scrubland, but remember, I can only use the scrublands white once I put a sideboard, right? Because initially I'm mono black. So I play a strip land, I strip one of his lands, and then I follow it up with a Winter Orb. So this is kind of like a Urnam type of thing, Urnam-Geddon, right? So dealing with the lands, so I'm kind of destroying his lands or impeding his lands, ironically. I get an icy, so I got this nice combo where either I can untap my lands and then he has to tap his old stuff. So yeah, sorry, I came in for 4, so he must be at 16, 14. Okay, he plays a Gloom, so he sees that I have scrubland, right? So maybe he thinks I have more white than I actually do. Initially, I have no white at all. So he's coming in. He's at 6 actually, so I've hit him already twice more. So he's at 6 right now. So here, the one land that he's untapping for the Winter Orb, that's the land I tap back. So I'm basically locking him out of mana. So with my Mox Jet, so I still get an additional mana that he doesn't. He's at 2 here. Once more, I tap the one land that he untaps. And then yeah, he already knows, so he's showing his hand. He already knows he's just being nice for the cameras to, officially finish the game. But yeah, I got lucky there. And he had some, so he was trying to go for, he did get some Landkill, I think, a little bit, but actually ended up even getting more land disruption because of the Winter Orb thing, right? All right, so here we're getting a look at our sideboard. So he's putting in 4 lightning bolts. No, I think he already had. Wait. So okay, is he taking out 4 lightning bolts? No, he just put him back in. Okay, so he's taking out, of course, the blue elemental blast. That doesn't do anything against me. So I have, okay, so taking out the Dingus Egg, I guess. Okay, taking out another red elemental blast. Yeah. He's also showing the cards in his sideboard, right? So sometimes he's just taking it out from the sideboard. He's adding in Blood Moons. So here for me it's pretty easy. I put in 4 disenchants. I take out, since he's creatureless, or like it seems like he's creatureless, so he takes out a terror, of course, that's useless against me. Since I see that he's creatureless, or at least I'm assuming he is, I took out all the creature related things, the 2 Hellfires and the 2 Royal Assassins, right? So that was an easy swap for me. So he's still going here. I think took out the Terror. Here's game 2. Baronet goes first, no malls from either one, so it's has a nice mix of lands. Mox Jet. For me, it was a little hard to see, so let's see. Well, we'll see as we. So yeah, I see 2 ICs, I see a Derelor. So good thing he didn't play another Black Vice because I have a slow start. So he's showing that he's gonna get a turn 3. Ooh, Demonic Tutor for me. So for him, he just land, me land. He played a Mox, land, and then me land. So, but then I played a Demonic Tutor on second turn. So he's getting. So it seems like he's playing the Tome. So I see a Howling Mine, but like I said before, I hardly cast those things. It was a terrible choice. I see a Disenchant, so that's good. And then here's my Scrapland, so I may be tempted to destroy his Tome. Depends on if I want to cast other things. I see a Hippie, I gotta go with the Hippie. Alright, so next turn. Is that a Terror in his hand? Maybe. Okay, he's drawing from the book. I see a Blood Moon that he drew. He has no red right now. I drew a Dark Ritual. So Baron's already getting ready for me to hit him with the Hippie. All right, so he takes 2. He's at 18. So I try to keep up with the life. And the discard, is a Lightning Bolt. That's great because, of course, that's the way that he's going to kill my little guys. I see a Stone Rain in his hand, but like I said, no red. And a Blood Moon. He does have another Lightning Bolt. So I'm looking. I have a Dark Ritual, so I could cast something else. I see a Derelor there. I'm probably gonna go with the Derelor. Okay, he's all tapped out, so I am I doing a, whoa, okay, I'm going Winter Orb again. But he has a, oh man. Yeah, so he got the red and then he destroyed my Lightning Bolt and my Hippie. But like I was saying, he has a Mox Jet, so that does help a lot with the Winter Orb. So last game I had the Mox Jet while I had the Winter Orb. Now he has it. So in hindsight, maybe this is not the best choice. Let's see. Okay, but I guess I knew I could still do that. Get a second turn, Derelor. All right, so on taps, land. So see a Blood Moon. I don't know if he's gonna cast it. I guess he is, or something else. Yeah, Blood Moon. All right, so it affects me a little bit. So definitely I can't cast any more white stuff, and I won't be able to because I have no Mox Pearl in this deck. But okay, so then I'm not gonna get to cast a Disenchant. So I play a Factory, but it's a mountain at this point. All right, so other than that, I'm attacking, so I came in for 4. Stone Rain's my, that's a good move. He Stones Rain one of my swamps. So that of course impedes me a lot because, so he's at 10. So it's a second hit from the Derelor because, but I got lucky. I did get a second swamp because a lot of my spells are double black. But that was just sheer luck there that I got another swamp. Okay, so yeah, he does have a terror. Okay. I'm not sure what that card is. Is that 2 terrors in his hand? Okay. So he's getting hit for 4. Order. Oh yeah, so here I made a mistake because of the Derelor. I need an extra 3rd black, right? So that was, and then now of course I showed my hand, what I had in my hand. But I still can cast something, so the IC is still coming out. Opponent goes. So this time the Winter Orb, I guess I'm just getting lucky and he's not casting things because he's just not drawing enough things to deal with what I have, just from sheer luck. All right, so he drew, didn't get anything. He's at 2 now, so that Derelor is coming in for the win. So same thing the last turn, he gets 1 on tap, and then I'm tapping what he untaps. He got a mountain, so he has 2 mana. My turn, I untap, coming in for 4. He had 2 terrors. Oh man, of course he's not gonna. I think he forgot to take them off, or maybe he just thought that I might still have, something else. But because of my Hellfires, all my creatures are black, so the terrors were never ever gonna do anything against me. And unfortunately, he drew both of them. And yeah, so here he's going through his So he was the breeding pit. That would have been tricky for me. But with the Winter Orb, actually, I could have maybe dealt with it because you have a consistent mana upkeep that you have to pay with that. So that eventually the Winter Orb is going to make that not last for long. But then he's showing me just some cards here in terms of the other things that his deck could do. But honestly, yeah, I got pretty lucky there. He, like I said, like he had 2 deck cards in his hand. Like right when I beat him, he was not getting. He was able to destroy my hippie, but then there was nothing big enough to destroy the Duralore, and he wasn't even drawing anything really to deal with it. And the Winter Orbs, I guess, slowed things down. It really hurt him game 1. Second game, it impeded him a bit. It impeded me as well. So it can be a double-edged sword. A lot of times it is. But it, I guess, slowed things down enough, and then I was able to get the win. All right, so going back to my deck here, so this is now game 5. So this is the 3rd win. So I'm 3-2, and the 2 losses that I had against Mono White, honestly, that's going to be a hard thing to deal with no matter what. And then my other one, it was competitive. I got unlucky. The 2 losses I got unlucky with mana, I remember. Which, with me having 23 lands, I thought that would not be an issue, right? But definitely I had a lot of dead draws in that game. Like I said, I think I had the Howling Mine in this game. I didn't even play it, right? So it ended up being a useless card. Black Vice, I think I played it once or twice, and it did a little bit of damage, but I don't think it ever was significant, right? I could have been though, right? So when I was doing a lot of that Winter Orb shenanigans, if I had drawn a Black Vice, that could have been something, right? But it's it's too easy to get under it for it to be consistent, right? And then I didn't consistently have that Winter Orb combo, right? That's more like just in case, it's a situational thing. And the Hellfire's totally useless. I never once cast them. I could have cast it in against the Mono White game 2, round 2, and I did not demonic tutor correctly. I could have either demonic tutor for that or for the Drain Life, which either one of those would have been good for me to win that game. So I definitely like this deck. I do plan on investing more time and making it better because, like I said, the games I won, I was happy with the win, and the ones I lost, I think it was partially bad luck and partially misplaced from my end. Still not, I'm still learning this deck. Like I said, I'm more used to Mono Black Weenie. This is a totally different game plan, and like I said, I ended up putting a lot of dead draws that I ended up not casting ever, right? So I do like it. I will continue to improve on it. I'm gonna definitely invest more white into it, right? So I think kind of like in round 2 where I went against Mono White. I have to be able to deal with White Knights, and like pro black creatures, and right now I cannot. If Icy's help, Mitchell's Factory's help, right? But they just temporarily stop the issue, right? If he gets 2 Knights, then that's a problem. So, and of course, just it's a good way to open things up. So I do plan to add swords. So basically, put a bigger component of white into this deck. Maybe add some white in the sideboard. We'll see. But I do like the deck. I like how a lot of it worked. And now with this experience, I'm going to be taking out those cards that did not work and beefing up this deck. And like I said, this is round 5, so I ended up having a 3-2 record. So now I'm going to be showing the prize pool for this tournament. I forgot what I ended up picking, but I ended up in 10th place, right? So pretty decent considering I was the first 2 rounds I was 0 wins. So, and 20 out of 22 players, so that's not too shabby. So a little bit short of top 8, even though with my 2 losses, right? So if one of those losses I could have squeaked it into a win, I would have definitely hit the top 8. But like I said, I had a lot of dead draws, a lot of misplays from me, especially in that round 2. But the potential is there. I really like the deck, and I'm looking to improve on it and take this to Lobstercon. Thank you guys for watching.